What's going on YouTube? Majestic Lewis with you, and on today's video I'm bringing Mega Banette. This is a team that I saw online, and I found it very fun to use and interesting. So this is why I'm bringing it to the channel. The main creator, I'm gonna leave it on the video description so you guys can check it out. But let's jump in our first match of the day. We're trying out, like I said, Mega Banette and this team, and the gimmick with this team is doing skill swap with Logan into Banette and boost our attack. So that's what we're gonna try, do in this matches. So let's get into it. Now looking, I'm scouting, see the possible alternative they're gonna go. I'm like, I can leave right away, start the gimmick, see if I can pull it off, or I can leave it in the back for like later on. But I went right on with it. Now they leave Sneasler with Gardevoir, and I'm over here with Slowcan and Banette. So I'm like trying to see what they're gonna what they're gonna do. I'm thinking, I was like, well, I can go right away for Swagger and skill swell, so I can get this party started. And that's what we do. I go right away for it. I'm like, the best thing they can do is kind of fake out. They can't actually fake out Banette being a ghost type. They can only fake out Slowking. We got the skill swap. I'll do Swagger. And now my attack is the Rose. We're bulky here now. Now I believe they're trying to get rid of my Slowking. That's why they're targeting with Thunderbolt. Never seen a Gardevoir with it. And normally they go for fake out. I don't know why they didn't. Now I'm like, I can try to get rid of Gardevoir, but I was in the beginning I was kind of like worried that they were gonna do Trick Room and kind of like reverse it. That's why I didn't choose to do that in the beginning. But now I'm like, well, since Logan is about to go down, I was like, maybe I could try and get Trick Room going, but unfortunately Logan goes down. I'm like, we came this far, you gotta go for it. Unfortunately I got the poison, on me. We go for Shadow Claw. Like, yep, got you. That's a critical hit. It's like there's no way Gardevoir was gonna resist that. Now I'm over here being poisoned, so it's like time is ticking. We gotta make the best of it. Like, well, I send Incineroar. I'm trying to see if I can fake out Sneasler. As I see that they had the white herb, I'm like, well, I can intimidate, get them fast. At the same time I was a little worried that Sneasler was gonna protect, but I was like, I can try to go for it and see if I can knock it out. And I'm over here, well, they switch. I'm like, what do they have in the back? And of course they got a Whimsicott. I'm like, that's fine, I'm not targeting that slot anyway. The main threat right now is the Sneasler. As I actually should have target, looking back now, so I should have targeted that slot since I fake out. But like I say, I was worried that it was gonna protect. That's why I was like, well, I can fake out that side, look at the right side. As I have Shadow Skin, I can use that to my advantage and try to knock the Sneasler quick. And I'm like, well, I can retrieve my Incineroar. I fake out for in case um, one of them goes down. Looks like they go for Encore. Nothing happened. Shadow Sneak gets a one hit after fake out. Took some damage. Now they only have two Pokemon. Got Pinsir, which I want to make a video of it. It looks cool. But looking, I was like, whoa, they got two Pokemon. When I was like at this time, I was like, I can go for Match Punch into Whimsicott and Shadow Sneak into Pinsir, which is what I should have done in the beginning. But I was worried as well that Pinsir was gonna protect. But no, they actually go for a Helping Hand. I was like, oh, that's not good. And they use Feint. I'm assuming they thought I was gonna protect or something. But that Helping Hand boost came in clutch for them. I gave it to them. Before I smacked the shit out of Whimsicott, even though it was a 1% health. Anything that would have breathed next to it would have just go down. Now I'm like, well, I can bring my Incineroar back, get Intimidate going, get some fake out action, and hope to knock it out. And we go for Ice Punch with a fake out. I was like, if it protect, if not, it's so good. It's like, yeah, you can't move this turn, and unfortunately it lived with 23%. I'm like, this Pinsir is bulky. I'm like, you can only knock one of us, and I'm targeting you, unless you have a move that can heal while you knock one of us. But I doubted that you can go through Incineroar, so you have a fighting move. I go for a Giga Impact. That's like a one-hit knockout into my Kelder. Fortunately, I'm like, that's fine. So I'm still gonna attack you with Darkest Lair, and it goes down. And that's our first match of the day win. Now we're gonna get ready for a second one. Trying to get Mega Banette working. I was able to do it on that match. Now let's see if we can get it rolling. Looking at this team, every time I see Ochalodon, it gets me a little worried. When I see Sableye as well, they're typically running together, do Reflect, or Encore, all those shenanigans, giving Ochalodon boosted. But I'm like, well, let me go for it again. I was like, this time I can actually lead with Tiplosion. Seeing that they have a Scovillian, the spicy ability when a Mega shouldn't do too much. I was actually hoping to do damage and not take too much damage in return. But this is when I was like a little hesitant on what to bring as my fourth member. But I went with Gun Jump, and they went with Dragonite and Scovillian. And I'm like, well, this lead for me is kinda okay. I'm like, I can go for an Eruption, kind of like break Dragonite multi-scale, and hope the Scovillian be like low enough that I can take it down in the next turn. And that's why I went Eruption. It looks like they're thinking of what they want for lunch today. Scovillian goes for the Mega. And they went for Protect. I was like, they wouldn't went for Protect. Would it be a massive damage coming their way? But unfortunately, no. I'm able to actually connect on Dragonite. It doesn't do much. They go for tailwind and be fast. But I went for trick roll. Honestly, thinking now, I was like, well, if they did tailwind, Deplosion with choice card, yes, I know it's fast, but I was in my head, I'm thinking maybe I am slower than they are, been on the trick room. And that's why I was like, well, I can switch out, but I'm afraid that Scovillain is gonna do Lich C, and Banette is gonna be stuck in there giving healing to his Scovillain. And I'm like, I can't afford that right now, so I can't switch. That's why I kept Deplosion in. But at least this turn, I'm like, at least I can do some damage in return. As they're still over there thinking what to do. I go for an Hydro Palm, thinking I was like, well, I can drop it enough. The eruption is gonna do enough damage. As they went for Leech Seed. And unfortunately they went for Rain Dance. Now that's gonna kind of like lower the attack that I can, do. If it would have not be rain, the dam I would have probably knocked Scovillain with that eruption right there. But unfortunately it's over there healing. And I'm like, well, I can kinda predict that they're gonna leech Steve into Slowking, or they're gonna protect. I was 50-50. It's like a 50-50 chance that they're gonna leech Seed as well as gonna protect. But I was more thinking that they're gonna protect other than stay in and take another hit. They rather heal, so that's why I switched on Banette. Going for the protect. I was like, thank you. This is kind of like a free turn for Banette coming in safe. We do Swagger. I was like, I'm debating if I wanted to do that, but I was like, well, once I do the Mega, I should be able to take out the Confusion. They went for Thunder. They were hoping to knock me with just a one hit, but we were bulky over here. And I'm like, well, I can go for well, first of all, I gotta do skill swap before anything else, so that way I can have the boost, which I already do. I already have Swagger, but I gotta do skill swap. As we go for Mega Banette. And of course they went for Rage Powder. I thought they were gonna go for a Leech C, but fortunately I couldn't do the skill swap. I could get rid of my Confusion, but now we have Spicy. We're spicy over here, Banette. Now I target Scovillain. I was like, yeah, you're not burning anyone else in here. Neither you're gonna have the ability Prankster. They get rid of my Slowking, unfortunately. I'm like, I don't have no other way to set up Trick Room, but it's fine. Their Tailwind goes away. And right now I'm debating if I want to bring Deplosion in on the rain, or if I want to leave it in the bag and bring Garchomp in. But I'm like, well, if I can install the rain and bring my Garchomp in, my Deplosion can be cooking later on, as I have the choice card. I'm hoping the Dragonite doesn't do Tailwind, and I'm like, well, I can target that side while our Chaladon goes for Protect, and I can go for Stomping Tantrum, and if we Protect, it will double my attack next turn. And I'm like, well, I can target. Hopefully, we can break out of this confusion. We do. We knock the Dragonite. I was like, not today for you, buddy. They go for Electro Shot. Under the rain, it's gonna be a one move. If it would not be under the rain, would have to wait one more turn. But unfortunately, it connect, and we take it. and because we had the spicy spray, it gets burned. This is why it came in clutch having that ability. Now we're boosting the stamina, meaning we're giving it more defense than you already have while I was healing with your burn buddy. So I'm like, well, let's keep stalling the range. Now Sableye, when I saw it, I was like, well, I gotta get rid of the little Pokemon. I gotta get rid of it as soon as possible. That's I'm like, I gotta target that slot. Hopefully I can, knock it out in this turn. And I was hoping that it didn't protect. I was like, if we fake out my Garchomp, it's gonna take like rough skin. But it didn't. I go for Shadow Sneak. I do some damage. They go for Reflect. Now their physical move is not gonna do as much. That's why my stopping tantrum didn't do too much. On top of being with the boost defense. And so, well, this is not good. They're over there boosting their special attack. This is no bueno. Unfortunately, Banette went down. I was able to at least take Dragonite with it, which it was one of the biggest threats that we had. Now, Charizard is over there getting burned. There's no Tailwind. Typhlosion with the choice card is like the fastest Pokemon on the field. The only thing that can stop me is that Sableye having any priority move. And I'm like, the only thing that can do to stop me would it be Fake Out, but it can. It's already on the field. Plus, I'm a Ghost type. I'm like, an Eruption, it's not gonna be pretty. So I'm like, I'm gonna go for that. And if by any chance, I was not expecting this actually, when they went for Quash. I thought they were gonna do it on Typhlosion. If they would have do that, they would have had the game right there. But they didn't. They chose to do it on Garchomp. But Typhlosion is too fast. And we take game 2. Now we're getting ready for a bonus match of the day. If you guys made it this far, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate. If you like this type of content, consider subscribe, as it's gonna help grow this channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000, and I'll be much appreciated. But yeah, let's jump back in our final match of the day. Now, looking in this one, I was like mainly concerned of the Corviknight and my latte, which is the reason why I was considering bringing Typhlosion. I mean Incineroar. I was like, should I bring it? Should I not? If I bring it and get them, intimidate either my latte or Corviknight, and giving them boost that I don't want to. I don't want to give them. So that's why I led the way that I did. They went with Lycanroc and my latte. I'm assuming they were expecting my Incineroar, but I'm like, nope, I don't have it. So looking over here, I was like, well, I can go right away for skill swap and go for Trick Room, so that way I could have it on the field and be, the slowest. And we go for Mega. We're over here, and I see that they went for Sucker Punch. I didn't know that they were gonna do it again, and this is why I was like, well, I can do a skill swap, get my own tempo, give extra ability to Slowking. They went for Muddy Water, trying to lower my accuracy. I was like, oh, this is not good. Now that Trick Room is set up, I'm like, well, I can make the best of what I have right now, see what can make happen. I'm like, surely they're not gonna go for another Sucker Punch. They're probably gonna do some Stealth Rock or try to protect or something with Lycanroc. Uh, and I'm like, well, I can either target my Logic, get it out, which is what I should have done. But I'm like, well, I can boost my Banette and get rid of, Lycanroc. And now looking back, like I said, I should have targeted Logic as this happened. I got Sucker Punch to the face. Unfortunately, all that boost that we got, it was not good. They got us down. And yeah, like I said, I should have actually target my Logic in that turn, get rid of the bulky, but I just didn't think it was gonna go down that quick. But that's a mistake that I made, and I'll try to get better for next time. But yeah, now I'm like, well, I got my Conkeldurr, I'm slower than you. Sucker Punch is not gonna do as much to my Conkeldurr. I can target it with Hydro Pump and try to get it to Focus Sash, or at least break it, and then with Drain Punch I can just get it out of the field. But unfortunately, Hydro Pump missed. We leave it on the Focus Sash. They went for Muddy Water. That does quite a bit. Not enough to my Slowking, but it's lowering my accuracy. Now they went for Play Rough, which it did a lot of damage. I'm glad that I had Citrus Berry. That was, a little worried there, but I'm healthy. Whoop, I can target my Logic, but I was worried that Lycanroc was gonna do Sucker Punch into my Conkeldurr. But I was like, well, let me target my Logic. Since it's like the more healthy, I can gain some of the health back from Drain Punch. And I'm like, oh, that came in clutch. I was like, yeah, it's lowering. It wants to keep lowering my accuracy, which they do get it. And because Conkeldurr is actually really slower, my Match Punch should be quicker into Lycanroc. So that's why I was like, well, I can Heal Pulse and Conkeldurr since it's like their threat right now. But I'm like, I can leave the Lycanroc by itself right there. It's not causing me any problem right now. Already got my Banette. Unfortunately, it's not what I wanted, but I'm like, I can get rid of the Logic, which we did. The dimension goes back to normal. I was like, whoop. Now we gotta see what we can do since we're not on the Trick Room, and this fighting Pokemon comes in. I was like, well, I can target it, trying to leave Lycanroc alone. So I'm afraid that it's gonna keep doing Sucker Punch, and it's gonna want to get rid of either one of my Pokemon doing Sucker Punch. And my main concern is Hawlucha with the flying move into my Conkeldurr. So that's why I'm like, well, I can try to see, like, scout. I'm like, maybe they're anticipating that I'm gonna protect my Conkeldurr, and I'm like, I can target Lycanroc right now with a Match Punch to the face. We get rid of it, and I'm like, maybe with a Hydro Pump into Hawlucha, it's gonna be enough. As they went for Brave Bird, they actually target my Conkeldurr. They're gonna take a lot of recoil back, which I'm like, oh, that is good. I actually went for Trick Room instead of actually targeting Hawlucha. I was afraid to miss right there, and I was like, looking back, I was like, I did Trick Room. Now I'm the slowest, but I had Garchomp in, and he's a little speedy Pokemon. And I'm like, well, they had Heliod. That Pokemon is actually fast. So I was hoping that it was faster than me. And I'm like, well, I can go for the Rock Slide, kind of like look for the flinch. But I'm like, that's not enough damage to either Pokemon on the field. So I'm like, I can go for stopping Tantron and get some damage into the Helios, as it's like super effective. And I'm over here with the Hydro Pump to Hawlucha. It's a critical hit. They went for Brave Bird. I'm assuming trying to knock on Garchomp. Fortunately, they're gonna knock themselves out. They only had Helios. I'm like, no, please live. And we did. I'm glad we did. And this is the end of the video, guys. Thank you again if you made it all the way into the end of the video. Thank you. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.